Dzień dobry, привет, and bună ziua.
Hey, it's Trevor and Tom from GreenShortz, and we're back with video 9 of the camper build.
And I'm back from my 9-day trip to Europe to work with Ukrainian refugees. If you'd like to see the vlog I made on that trip, I'll put a link in the description below. Now that video is unlisted just because it's pretty different than what you normally see on this channel. What's happening today?
Today we're going to work on the cardboard patterns for the cots.
And I'll be taking this over to my friend Becky, who's a seamstress.
And today we're going to start on the floor of the garage as well.
And that'll give us a good chance to start working with the ACM, doing that route and fold, because that's something we need to get perfected before we start on the outside of the camper.
Alright, let's get started.
TinkTube is the sponsor of this camper build series. TinkTube makes this system of pipes, connectors, and accessories to empower any DIY project. Let's connect these lines and then cut that out.
Are we going to attach the fabric to the...
So the fabric will actually wrap around and then have a flap shaped like this, and we'll have grommets in it. And then they'll lace together with the other side. So we gotta have these cutouts here to avoid our hinges. But then down here, this is a separate piece, and that one will slide on. All right, so this section here is actually gonna have loops on it. It'll slide in over these longer sections of pole here. It's also gotta come out and be foldable, so that's the idea here. The pole is here. Although she's gonna sew a loop here, so the whole thing will loop. The cot patterns are done. Before I cut this piece down to size, I'm going to route the folds. I thought I'd try and move the router in the other direction to push the pile behind me instead of in front of me. That didn't work. It needed to go right to left. My T-square moved a little bit on this second route and fold. I think going forward, I'll cut this to width first so I can clamp my T-square on both ends to make sure it's secure. It's not far off enough that I think I can't use this piece, but I'm glad I'm learning this now. I'm making this mess on a surface that I can easily sweep and vacuum. All set?
Yes.
Eyes and ears, JW. Just cut into it so you see how it feels. And also we're cutting metal, and so the blade speed is set a little bit slower. The teeth on a metal cutting blade are smaller. It will still cut you though. Don't ever start the cut with the blade against the workpiece. You start away from it and then move it in. All right. You can slide it out without having to have it on.
Oh, okay.
So come back to here and just gently bite away at that, then you can get back on that line. That makes sense? You gotta keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I was kind of just looking at this instead of at the actual blade. Not bad, not bad. A little trial there.
This one will go a little bit past vertical because the back of the camper has a little bit of an angle. Yeah, got that in?
Probably dump it out.
Now what you want to do is just use the blade to kind of eat away at that. Just careful. Now you have enough that you can get in the blade this way. All right, so the building process here is a little bit intuitive. So to get the garage floor in, it's gonna go in right here like this. But it needs to go behind the slide. Thankfully the slide is just put in with 2 bolts. So we're gonna take those out. This cutout here is actually clearance for the slide. If I had been thinking through this all the way from start to finish, I probably would have put this in first before I put in the kitchen slide. As we have it now, there's a couple of cutouts to get around the bars holding up the kitchen, but the slide could have very well just been attached to this piece here. So since we are working on a prototype, we're gonna encounter stuff like this. And in this case, rather than redoing it, I'm just gonna work around it. I am gonna do a very good job of water sealing to make sure that we've got gasket underneath that so we don't have water coming into this storage area, which needs to stay dry. So I'm going to use some salvaged gasket to go between the 2 pieces. These are crappy scissors. This way. And then the fold will go down, and then
Probably pre-fold it and then make a little crease. How far down do we need it?
Probably like 2 inches down, just so it's about halfway through that 4-inch panel.
Yeah. Alright, push this side in as well.
We're going to compress that together with the rivets. Drain's here.
Yeah.
Snake that through. Try and keep it flush to the kind of an awkward spot there with that fender in the way.
Yeah.
Eventually it'll pop. That's why it's called the pop rivet. There you go. Nice.
How they look?
Looks good. Nice and snug. Alright, let's get the kitchen back on.
Right, itself, this is getting tighter.
We're gonna stop here on this video. Kind of getting into the incremental stage at this point. This stuff takes time just to make this one simple piece. Well, you saw the steps it took. I am really happy with the cardboard forms that we made for the cots. We'll get those over to Becky, get her sewing those.
So basically it's this, it's going to be this wide.
That's the width of the frame.
These are angled, right?
Because I got a corner bracket that it would bunch up if I tried to wrap that corner.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I kind of turned the corner like that. You can just do a hem along that little section there, but then the flap will be here and here. My hash marks here kind of show you what would be cut off.
Okay.
I figured having a physical object was more reliable than me giving you a list of measurements.
And this is the actual size, right?
That's the actual size.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how my brain works. This, for me, was also thinking through how I wanted to do it, so.
That's good.
I'm glad we were able to practice a bit more on the round fold for the bottom of this garage here, so that we're able to do really well for the exterior of the camper.
Yeah, it's okay, I think, to have a couple of divots here and there on some interior pieces, but we want the outside to look really nice.
I also got a chance to use the jigsaw and the pop riveter.
Thanks again to TinkTube for sponsoring this series, as well as our patrons and members for helping make these videos possible. If you'd like to join us on Patreon or in the membership section here on YouTube, you can check out the links in the description below.
As always, our mission here at Green Shorts is to help you see green so you can be green, and save a little green by doing it yourself.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next Saturday.
Let's go! Today is video 9. The camper build.
Alright, let me do this again. A little more projection, a little more projection.
Come
from you.
on.
A little more.
Alright.
A little more. Give me a little more. Give me a little more. A little boom. A little
Alright.
little oomph.
And this is gonna go in bloopers now.
You better
did
believe
that.
you better believe it.
Oh my gosh.